Hit it.
We'd like to adjourn the Board of Education closed session at 7:03 and reconvene the regular Board of Education open session at 7:03. Meeting has been called to order. Pledge of Allegiance by Clifton Middle School. Mrs. Jackson.
Let's wait to stand up till we.
Good point. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Education, District Administration, and Monrovia community. My name is Jennifer Jackson, principal at Clifton Middle School. And tonight, the pledge is going to be led by two fantastic Renaissance leaders, Ashley Godbold and Savannah Alma Ron.
Please stand, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Just a little more about these fantastic young ladies standing behind me. They are both members of our Renaissance leadership class at Clifton, and they do a tremendous job helping connect students to our school community. So without further ado, I would like them to share with you what's about to happen 2 days from now that is directly in line with what I just said. So let's welcome back Savannah and Ashley.
Hello, I'm Ashley Godbold, and I'm an 8th grader at Clifton Middle School.
And I'm Savannah Alma Ron, a 7th grader, also at Clifton Middle School.
And today we are here to talk about the annual academic rally at our school called the MTV Awards.
In this case, MTV does not stand for Music Television Awards. It stands for Motivational Teen Victories. This is our yearly academic rally. At this award ceremony, we award students with variations of awards, all referring back to the student's academics, effort, and behavior. Every student who wins an award is recognized in front of the whole school and is given a bag filled with goodies such as candies, pencils, and erasers from us Renaissance leadership students. Oh, and a quick fact. Lots of these awards include the phrase CPR, which is a part of our school motto, we are CPR, courteous, polite, and respectful.
Awards include CPR Rock Stars, which recognizes students who are consistently courteous, polite, and respectful. Never Quit Cubs, who are students that have made an effort to improve either within their academics or behavior. Scholar Athletes, which awards students that not only participate in sports but maintain a 3.5 GPA or higher. Perfect Attendance Awards, and the top students of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Now enjoy a free treat from Miss Jackson and Renaissance Leadership. Happy Valentine's Day and thank you.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
You're all stuck here. You might as well eat
We've
something
been
sweet.
doing this all day.
Sweet treats. And girls, you are each receiving a certificate tonight for your awesome leadership and leading us through the pledge. So I'm coming over to give those to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out. Hey, Kathy. Here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, you are. But you are what you eat.
Item F3, roll call. Ms. Huff?
Board President Williams.
Here.
Board Member Hammond. Absent. Board Member Wong.
Here.
Board Member Gilliland. I'm here. Appears that everybody is here.
Thank you.
With the
Item
exception of
F4,
board member-
report on a closed session held at this date. I'll just say that we had discussions, and for conclusion at a later time, there were some dialogue that we had that is going to be acknowledged during our session this evening. Item G, order of business. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Hammond. I conclude by saying there was no reportable actions. Item G1, board agenda discussion, presentation items which could be include input from representative of agendized matters may be moved up. Dr. Terosian?
President Williams, we'd like to postpone taking action on item L5 regarding the school safety plans. We'd like to revise one of them and present them to you on the February 28th meeting of the Board of Education.
So noted. Item G2, approve the minutes of the regular Board of Education for January 24th, 2018. Entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board Member Hammond.
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. H1, recognition and communications, board report. Mr. Gilliland?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to report. We as a board do boardwalks, and every other year we go to elementary, and the opposite year we go to the secondary schools. And this year's elementary, and how much fun they are. But I just want to give a shout out to Brad Oaks for the wonderful job they did. And it was really, really special this year because we had student guides taking us around to the different classrooms, and so we got to get a little feel for how it looks from a student's perspective, and it was real special, and the staff did a great job in putting that information together and picking kids that were very articulate, very mature for their age, and just made wonderful guides. So we're looking forward to having Darren and the rest of those young scholars over here, I think, next board meeting. So that was a great job. I also want to just mention that part of our task this week as a school board and superintendent was to sit down and mid-year look at the goals for the superintendent and what's important to this district to make sure are ongoing. And there is so much. Gosh, every time we do something like that, I'm just so impressed with what our staff's able to do with the resources we have. So shout out to the staff on a great job getting us halfway through this year, and I have great hopes for the next half of this year. Good things are going on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Hammond. Student board report. Dr. Dorson, we have a report from the student?
Amy Gonzales has shared with us her report that I would be happy to read. Canyon Oaks and Mountain Park schools are preparing the 11th graders for the SBAC testing that's just around the corner. Students meet during their 5th period to hone their writing skills and math fundamentals with Mr. Edwards and Mr. Holman. Also, the counseling staff hosts a Compass meeting every Tuesday after school. Counselors meet with seniors to assist them in completing college and financial aid applications. Compass is a time set aside for guest speakers and fun incentives like treats and gift cards. Lastly, they are planning a school-wide field trip for the end of March to Santa Fe Dam, where they will release the trout that Ms. Denuy's students are currently raising in her science class.
Very cool.
Item H3, report from the superintendent, Dr. Terosian.
Thank you. Actually, let's do the next part first. I had a privilege of attending a robotics tournament on Saturday, and I was going to tell you all about it, and then I noticed some people in the audience who may have a little more expertise and a little more information. So, Mr. Johnson, would you like to tee them up? I think we have kings and queens. We are with royalty tonight.
Good evening. My name is Coy. That's Tyler, and this is Roberto. We're the members of the Kings and Queens Robotics team from Monrovia High School. We're here tonight to report that last Saturday, 4 Monrovia teams qualified to be among the 48 teams that will advance to and compete in the Southern California First Tech Challenge Robotics Champion or Regional Champion that will be held at Monrovia High School on February 24th. 4 teams are ourselves, the Suitbots, the Graveyard Shift from Monrovia High, and the Hippie Bots from Clifton. We would like to invite the members of the board, district staff, teachers, and everyone in the Monrovia community to come to Monrovia High on Saturday, February 24th to watch us compete against the top teams across Southern California. 10 teams from that evening will earn an honor of moving on to compete in the West Super Regionals tournament to be held in Spokane, Washington in March, which will bring together the top 72 robotics team from 11 states, and in which they will compete to have a chance to compete in the Robotics World Championship. The upcoming regional championship will showcase the best student-engineered robots. The competition on the field will be fierce and exciting. And we brought a little presentation of our robot, Sir Tristan. Yeah, once they get this.
As they get our special guest ready, just take a look at our special guest coming up.
So the goals for this year is to stack blocks into another box that are placed throughout the field, and we design a robot so we can move in all direction. And that is our harvester for the blocks. It's an active intake in which we wouldn't have to think about the orientation or how we need to grab the blocks. And this is for the other part of the game, where we'd have to grab a little rescue man and place him on one of the mats, which are placed outside of a 12 by 12 foot field. And we do this along with an autonomous portion of the competition within 2.5 minutes.
Pretty much the entire design for this robot came out of their heads and the other 7 members of our team.
Wow.
We executed this vision, and it's by far the most complicated and elegant thing that we at least have ever built.
Very cool.
Very cool.
We were chosen by our friend, the Suitbots, to be in the winning alliance, and we won the Inspired Award, which is one of the best award you can win. It's an award that awards the team with an overall kind of.
So Inspire is the highest award that you can earn in a robotics competition because there are other awards like Think, Connect, Control, which are different sections. Like Control is
Being able to program the robot most effectively.
so they're just different sections. One's about our notebook on how we have progressed through our season. So we were scored on every single board in the second or third out of all the awards. So by scoring that high, we were able to achieve #1 Inspire by being the highest overall.
It's basically it's the award that goes to the team that best exemplifies all of the elements of the first program, both on the field and off the field. And so it combines performance on the field with community involvement, connection to the professional community, promotion of robotics, and fundraising, marketing, and all of the other elements. So they basically were awarded the top team in the competition in that field.
Very cool.
That's very cool. Wildcats. You guys are awesome. Such an asset to our entire school district.
Appreciate you being here. Could you once again say what time and place that robotics competition is
Yes,
going to be?
it's,
I think you probably got more interest in, well, we should go see this.
Yes, it's an all-day event on Saturday, February 24th. It's at Monrovia High.
And the time it starts?
Yeah, matches starts at 10, but if you want to see the team or all the 50 teams that are coming in and setting up, we'll be there around 7 or 8.
Thanks. I may not be there that early.
So
Thanks.
10 o'clock, as
Yes.
Brian said, 10 o'clock.
Give or take 30 minutes.
Yeah, you guys are awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's get a picture of that.
Yeah, can we take a picture, please?
Yes, of course, please.
With the robot too.
Because I needed to take the picture.
We got people.
Yeah, people that direct pictures.
1, 2, 3. Move phone.
Perfect. All right, thanks.
Congratulations on the big one tonight, too, then.
We're at item I, public comments. Of course, the Board of Education encourages public participation. It invites you to share your views on school business. The forms are out front, acknowledged as addressing the Board of Education. Ms. Huff, do you have a form?
Board President Williams, yes, I have actually been asked to read a response to requests sent to the board, sent from David Navarro, MHS chair parent.
All right, I stand corrected for not concluding. These are public items, public comments for items not on the agenda?
That is correct.
All right.
Can I begin?
Correct me if I'm wrong, you are reading a letter?
I am reading.
The one, that, we were sent a letter from.
Oh, the one I didn't get. Yeah, forgive me.
Okay. Dear members of the Monrovia Unified School District Board and board meeting attendees, I know what happened to Coach Isaac, and my suspicions of the false allegations against him were totally correct. I knew it from the start of this debacle because Coach Isaac would be the first to be open, honest, and totally transparent about his personal situations, and would have let everyone know what is going on, and would have helped transition the team oversight. So it's very obvious that he was put under a gag order and that some kind of allegations were made against him. This has been confirmed, and I was correct. I do not understand why MHS administration and or MUSD administration did not involve the parents of these students in their investigation into the situation. Several of us parents attend parts of practices and were present at the time of the incidents that led to the allegations. Why did you not ask us for statements as to what happened? Why did you not ask us parents to weigh in on the matter and tell you what our expectations and allowances are regarding Coach Isaac's methods of blatant honesty with the team? Coach Isaac led what I would call an A-level program that was committed to the highest standards of championship competitiveness, and that included oversight and direction that emphasized safety, scholarship, and integrity. His coaching and instruction helped to organize and fuel our team's passion for being the best at what they do in every capacity. He did not allow weaknesses, excuses, or personal problems to drag the team down. He expected everyone to do their part and to put every effort into doing it right. He instilled a champion mindset into our team and to our girls and boys that will stick with them the rest of their lives, and which will help them to prevail as productive members of society. With the removal of Coach Isaac and lack of true and genuine direction for the program, I am sorry to say it immediately devolved into what I would call a C-level program, or worse. Under Coach Isaac, all three teams won first place in the first competition. Immediately after his suspension, the varsity and JV team dropped to third place in the next competition. All three of our teams, varsity, JV, and freshmen, worked hard and get invited to nationals and join the program with the full expectation of making it there and getting it to compete in Las Vegas. After Coach Isaac's removal, several of the girls and parents indicated to me, and the sense I got from communications to all was that seeming direction from above was, girls and boys, this is your problem. It's up to you. Show up for practices or you will not be ready. To place the burden of this dilemma on the team was wrong. In my opinion, our girls and boys were not to be blamed for the failure of administration in continuing to provide an A-level program for them. That was insufficient direction from those above to keep the team moving together. I do not fault the coaches who were left or anyone who tried to jump in and help the cheer team keep it together, but I do fault the administration for not handling this situation above board and in a transparent way, for not providing the oversight necessary to maintain an A-level program, and for letting these girls, boys, and their families who invested thousands of dollars and countless hours of fundraising into this stated goal of competing at nationals and training to be the best. Coach Isaac would have given lectures, speeches, and encouraging words to motivate the team. He would have gotten on them to step it up, and they would have responded and been motivated to step up their game. He was that good. He had a personal passion and exuded it to the team and motivated the team to share that passion, and you removed him based upon the unfounded, untested, and unproven allegations of disgruntled individuals. We are not happy that this was so poorly handled, and this reaction basically destroyed our cheer program this year. In the very least, you could have let Coach Isaac remain while the allegations were checked. I am mostly very disappointed for the girls and boys, my daughter included, for how they were dealt with and treated, and how they have had to watch their program deteriorate from a top-notch championship A-level program to being a second-hand afterthought with a C-level program or worse. Please do not think that our girls and boys are not aware of what happened and how they were regarded. In the least, the girls and boys of our cheer team who were let down by being given a deteriorating program and then being led to believe it is their fault for not showing up and being motivated should receive an apology. Best regards, Mr. David Navarro.
Yes, comments?
Yeah, I just want to say, but we can't talk about that issue because it's not agendized, but some people may be wondering why we just read a letter here. And it's the desire of the board and our policy that we want to receive input from our parents, from the public, from those that elected us to be here for oversight of this district. And this letter came in with a request to read it into the record, and it's signed. If it had it been anonymous, our policy would be not to read it. However, Mr. Navarro submitted this very respectfully, so by our policy, we will read that into the record. So thank you for reading that.
Thank you, Mr. Gilliland, for that observation. Ms. Huff, thank you for reading that letter in its entirety. Item H2, public comments for items on the open session agenda. Of course, these may be made at this point at the time the items are considered and placed on the agenda. Do we have anyone, Ms. Huff?
There are no other comments.
Thank you for that. Item J, informal reports and presentations. J1, enrollment staffing projection. Ms. Wu.
Good evening, board, staff, and the superintendent. After the governor released 18-19 state preliminary budget, it is starting the district budget development process for the 18-19 school year. And the enrollment and staffing is the first step, since the enrollment will decide how much revenue will state funding us in the next school year, and the staffing will be take up 85% of the budget. So when we look at our enrollment projection, we look at our trend for our historically. In the last 5 years, the district continued to experience decline enrollment. With back to 13-14, we are fortunate to have increased for 41 students. The reason is at that time the San Gabriel Valley SELPA decided to take over the program, which is originally hosted by LAGO. So that's part of the reason. And in the next several years, we experienced decline enrollment, which is 16-17 was a huge dip for 222 students. Since we have a big classes students graduation and the new class coming is lower, so we continue to project a decline enrollment with around 116 students. So this is the over 7 years enrollment history and breakdown by each school site. As you can tell, the 2 elementary schools out of 5 we experienced increase because the dual emerging program, one's a Spanish dual emerging program at Monrovia, and Mandarin dual emerging program at Plymouth. Our side, unfortunately, we continue to experience the decline in enrollment. So we also, there's a program change for the Crest Academy, and the program, the students go to various school sites, so we don't have that data. It's the data will be including at the school site enrollment. And in regarding of staffing, Dr. Jackson will present the staffing.
Just in collaboration with the HR department, working with the business department, we've been working on our staffing projections for the 18-19 school year. And as Ms. Wu has indicated, this slide includes the declining enrollment trend, as well as factoring in the adjustment in the staffing ratio MOU that we signed in December. And so, not reading the slides here, but just to give you a quick example, if you just to highlight Mayflower and Wild Rose, you can see those significant numbers of projections in the decline in that enrollment. And that's based off the fact that we have larger fifth grade classes leaving the school and smaller kinder classes coming in, and that's been a trend for the last couple of years. The same holds true from Monrovia High School. The incoming class of eighth graders transitioning to ninth is smaller than last year's ninth grade class. So that coupled with the adjustment in our staffing ratio, we have projected that we need a reduction, we'll realize a reduction in staffing, but we believe we'll be able to offset that number through attrition of retirees, the non-renewal of temporary positions, job shares, so that's consolidation of positions, refraining from adding new positions, relocations, retirees, et cetera. And so we'll be working on this process here within the next couple of weeks here.
Any question regarding enrollment and staffing projection from board or staff?
Since there's no question, we can move forward, Ms. Wu, to item J2, preliminary budget.
So based on the governor's release 18-19 preliminary budget, we updated the multi-year projection. And in the governor's release budget, the good news is the state decided to fully fund the local control funding formula, which is around 95% of district unrestricted general fund. The fully funded LCF in 18-19 only mean that the 18-19 funding level back to same as 07-08, which we call the great years. In the future years, after the 18-19, the funding right now it's only COLA, which is each year different COLA rate is listed in the slide. Also, this year, the governor decided to continue funding the school on the one-time discretionary money. It's a rate on the $295 per ADA, and compared with this year's $147 per ADA, there's an obvious increase. And continue on the career tech education funding, and also based on the state survey and the research from University of Berkeley, and the state realized that the special education program needed more funding. So the governor proposed the one-time funding for the special education teacher and training and recruitment, retention, and also the one-time funding available to be called a competitive grant to offer to local school district to find a solution to their local need. Based on this various assumption, we updated our multi-year projection, and here's a list for the LCFF, including in the supplemental concentration, which require district increased service to the needed students, called unduplicated students in the 3 category, and also the one-time discretionary money.
Questions or comments for Ms. Wu? Okay. Ms. Wu, can conclude with item 3, student attendance report. Thank you.
Yes, each year we are required to periodically submit to the county the attendance report, and the P1 report already finished submit to the county. And the P1, it's covered from the first day of school to December 21st. It's the total is 5 school attendance months. On the P1, we had 5,343.02 ADA, which means that the date the kids attend school, and this will be less than last year for 57.02, and because part of reason because of declining enrollment.
Questions or comments for Ms. Wu? Thank you, Ms. Wu,
Thank you
for your reports. Item J4, summer school dates. Dr. Kaiser.
Good Good evening, President Williams and Board. I'm happy to share with you the summer school dates for this summer, 2018. We'll hold summer school at Plymouth Elementary School. We will have our two programs there, one called Camp Read a Lot, the other Cognitive Guided Instruction for Summer School Math Program, both for 4th and 5th grade students who have been struggling in those subjects during the school year. We will have also summer school at Wild Rose, and these are the dates. We'll have Camp Read a Lot Junior for our younger students who have been struggling in reading during the school year, our extended school year courses for special ed. Those programs will be held at Wild Rose. Then at Clifton, we'll have the English language learner support for our middle school students and the 6th through 8th grade extended school year for our special ed students. Plymouth will be holding a camp this summer called Camp Infinity, which is for students who have been struggling in math. And it'll be grades 4 through 8 at Plymouth. And it'll be a staff development model where staff will be trained a few days before the camp starts, and then they'll have coaching and training during the time that they're working with the students. At the high school, we'll have a program that is sponsored by Citrus, where the Citrus teachers are teaching our courses on the Monrovia High School campus. The Math and Science Academy will be holding some courses. We will have the extended school year for special ed and a 9th grade bridge program for students that need extra support in transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade. And these are the dates. And then adult ed will be holding their summer programs from June 11th to July 13th. And that is a robust summer program for us for this summer.
Questions or comments for Dr. Kaiser? Thank you, Dr. Kaiser, for your report. Shanoa Hardy, I see you in the audience. Hello. Thank you for coming to our wonderful, exciting board meeting. Ms. Hardy works in conjunction with KGM. She is nicknamed 2% because she has 2% body weight, so that's her nickname. So thank you for showing up. The consent agenda, item K, which includes 14 routine items of business placed on the consent agenda, have been carefully screened by the members of the staff and will be acted upon by the board with one motion. Upon request of any person, an item on the consent agenda may be considered separately at its location on the meeting's agenda. Do we have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
We do not.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Take a vote.
Board Member Hammond?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board President Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Shoshana. Item L, action items, non-consent, of course, educational services. Dr. Sue Kaiser.
Yes, it is, good evening, Board, President Williams and the Board. The Board of Education has requested to hold a public hearing to receive public comments regarding a general waiver of section 11517.5B, and that is the first item. The second item is the same, section 11517.5, if we could take all three of these as one hearing. And then the third one is section 862. The California Code of Regulations, Title 5, section 11571, and the respective titles states to be able to be eligible for apportionment payment, the school district must meet the conditions that we meet. The budget implication for this hearing and for these waivers is for the first one that is waiving the CELT apportionment. It would be an income to the district of $4,185. The second one is the KC, which would be an apportionment allocation to the district of $2,496.40. And the third one is the CASP test apportionment allocation, which would be $10,258.98. So the hearing would be to hear for these three apportionments to be accepted by the district. It's a general fee waiver.
Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. Any comments?
Well, the
Questions?
question is, can we handle all three of these items with one motion, or do we have to do them separately?
I was just gonna say, call it out by 17-18, 10, 91, 92, and 93, and let's go at it.
And go with one, yeah.
Thank you,
You
Mr.
wanna make
Hammond.
that motion, or
I'll make that as a motion.
Entertain it.
I'll second that motion.
Brian, you didn't second it. Boy.
Because we can only have 1 second, Mr. Williams. I'll third it if it makes you feel better.
Just trying to be on point here, Mr. Wong. Ms. Huff?
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Hammond?
Yes.
Board President Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Human Resources, Dr. Jackson?
Yes, Board President Williams, members of the board. The Board of Education has requested to approve the start of school dates for the 2018-19 and 2019-2020 school years. The rationale being Wednesday, August 15, 2018 has been identified as the start of school date for the 2018-2019 school year. And then the following year, Wednesday, August 14, 2019 has been identified as the start of school date for the 2019-2020 school year. This date was agreed upon and ratified by MTA members on the negotiations team on December 20th, 2017. The remaining dates and holidays for the 2018-19 and 19-20 school years will be negotiated by the MTA and California School Employees Association at a later date. The Board of Education approval is needed before this date for the first day of school so that it can be shared with the district, staff members, and the community.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Motion?
There's one comment before I
Forgive me.
vote. I'd like to thank the negotiation team for putting together a 2-year calendar. That is, without a doubt, the number one phone call I get is, when does school start? And now folks can have it for 2 years. Thank you guys very much for getting it for 2 years.
I second that
And
as
with that,
well.
I'll move approval.
I'll second, so Brian doesn't have to.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Hammond?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board President Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Action item 6, board businesses. It acknowledges Dr. Terosian, but I believe Mr. Hammond's going to lead us in this area.
I move expulsion case number 1718-04 for the 17-18 school year, and I move expulsion case number 1718-4, student number 111-118-792, be held to an enforcement of an order of expulsion for a period not more than 1 calendar year. This period commences on the 14th day of February and ends on the 14th day of February 2019. This expulsion is based on the findings of fact that the student violated the following provisions of Education Code Section 48900, Section A1, cause, attempted to cause, or threatened to cause physical injury to another person.
Second.
Ms. Huff?
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Hammond?
Yes.
Board President Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Action item H7 through 11, Dr. Kaiser. Dr. Kaiser, are we going to revisit action item 7?
Actually, if I may continue with the action item 7 through 11, with the role of the board and the policies. The board is requested to receive for first reading 5 board policies for an update as recommended by the California School Boards Association. The first is Board Policy 9000, and as President Williams noted, there is an amendment we'd like to make on that one, and that is that the final line is been duplicated, and we'd just like to delete it, but other than that, to present it to the board for its first reading.
Question, comments?
Oh, no.
Mr. Wong?
No.
Ms. Huff?
You want me to make the
Oh,
motion?
thank you, Mr.
I-
Hammond. Thank you, Mr. Gilliland.
I will make the motion that we adopt this policy as amended.
Mr. Wong?
Now I'll second it if you would like me to second it.
Ms. Huff?
Or I can
Board
make a
Member
comment.
Hammond. Board Member Hammond.
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
Board President Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Ms. Huff. Item 12, pending board issues. Dr. Kaiser?
We need to take 8, 9, 10, 11. Can we take all 4 of those together?
I thought we did.
No, we just did the one.
The
I stand corrected. I stand
Because there was
corrected.
an amendment to that one.
Absolutely right. I stand corrected. That was amendment from 9,000. Need to re-entertain, gentlemen.
Okay, I'll move that we entertain as one vote, item 1718 5030, 5031, and 5032 as amendment, as board policy, as board policies.
Would you
I'd
mind?
like to add 5033 as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't go far enough down the board.
And I will second that.
We are good to go. 4 of us can make this thing happen, can't we?
Thank you for the clarity, Mr. Gilliland. Ms. Huff?
Board Member Wong. Who seconded? I'm sorry.
I think
didn't
it-
hear.
Brian?
Board Member Wong.
Yes.
It was definitely
Board
Mr.
Member
Wong.
Hammond.
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland.
Yes.
And Board President Williams.
Thank you.
You want to vote?
For the public, this is obviously a special occasion tonight, so some of us are being expeditious. So henceforward, our entertainment here.
You want to vote?
No. Yes, I would like to vote. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries 4-0.
I'm in the interest of Mr. Wong right now. Item 12, pending board issues. Dr. Kaiser, please.
I'll take this one as well. There are no changes to the pending board items that are presented, and we are simply following along and working through each of the items as identified.
Could I?
Dr. DeRoche, that's what I meant. Sorry, Dr. Kaiser. Mr. Gilliland?
Yeah, we originally put this on the agenda and review it every board meeting because there were items that tended to get lost, and we wanted to make sure those items didn't get lost. I think there are a few items that have been dropped off of here that we might want to consider putting back on. We started a special effort to advocate for special ed funding and special ed, and I would like to see that on this chart so that we've got some definitive actions and that we monitor how we're going forth on that. We also started a couple of years ago requesting information on the grade distribution at MHS, and that's another one that I think we should add back into this one. We used to have policies in ARs review because that's part of our normal thing, and maybe it's ingrained enough now that we don't need it on this report. I don't know how the other board members feel. I think it's happening.
I think it's always good to put it in writing, regardless if everybody knows that it's there, because that way it doesn't slip through the cracks. And it is a monstrous task to go through all of our policies, all of our procedures for every department. And I do think it helps with the planning for all the various departments so they can make sure they're on top of things. So I would agree with you completely.
And one last thing I would like to do is put facility master plan back on. And that's my,
That was inadvertent. I apologize.
I thought it might be, yeah, right.
Any other comments in addition to Mr. Gilliland's observations?
A question, the frequency for the grade distribution updates, and in what manner would you like it? A presentation to the board or a board update during a weekly update?
I think we asked for a meeting biannually, wasn't it? Or was it quarterly? And I personally would like to have some study time, some study session time to look at those instead of just a board report. But
Agree.
I think it would be great if we got one update, but at least had one study session either at the very beginning or at the very end of the year, whatever seems to make the most sense to staff.
Good.
To have a discussion on that.
I'm good with that too, yeah.
And are you comfortable with us checking with our Director of Special Education, Kitty Louie, to find the best time to provide you with that update?
Sure.
As a study session is what I understood.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, at least for me, you and Kitty can determine what the timing might be on that, but just so we've got it on there so we don't lose track of it.
That's a good point, Ms. Gillan, especially the special needs effort with our Washington DC trip and advocacy, in addition to some other people that we've hired to represent us. So, good point.
Yeah, we've had some good momentum. I just want to make sure we don't lose it as a district.
Absolutely. Item M, old business, which includes our next regular board meetings. Acknowledged is Wednesday the 28th, Monday the March the 12th, which is our joint Board of Education with the City of Monrovia, which we do twice a year. Wednesday, March 14th, the regular Board of Education meeting, and conclude with March the 28th, the regular Board of Education meeting. Item N, new business, the 5th Annual History Arts Festival at Wild Rose. I believe that's going to be at 1:30 on Saturday. The President's Day, all sites are closed on the 19th of February. Golden Apple Awards and Breakfast, February 21st, 7:30 a.m. at Santa Anita Park. An open house at Wild Rose Elementary School on the 22nd of February. And the Monrovia Duarte Black Alumni Association Annual Black History Month Soul Food Luncheon at the Monrovia Community Center on the 24th. Before we move to item O, adjourning our meeting, I'd like to acknowledge a passing on behalf of our colleague, Mr. Rich. His father, Robert Rich Jr., passed on yesterday. Of course, we have all solicited prayers to Mr. Rich, who we're very close to, obviously. Not just the dais here, but the board, rather, but the entire cabinet. We're all a good knit family. And so I solicit your prayers on his behalf. The Board of Education regular open session will conclude at 7:55. Mr. Wong. Thank you, Shoshana, for getting us out expeditiously for Mr. Wong.
Well,